Welcome to Meet the Prince. Today we will be talking firsthand to Niccolo Machiavelli. In recent weeks, Machiavelli has been quoted several times in several political discourses. We wanted to go straight to the source to see if we really understood Machiavelli and his theories. There are several areas that we would like to hear from Machiavelli himself. I'm your host, Jennifer Houck. Welcome to the show, Mr. Machiavelli.
Please, call me Niccolo. It is my pleasure to be with you again to discuss contemporary political theory. I am able to impart this knowledge upon you thanks to my years of political experience and countless research in history of the Italian nation. Now, I would like to go ahead and discuss what I've learned, but don't worry, American, I will not use excessive sesquipedalians.
Thanks. We appreciate that. We wouldn't want any of our guests to be bored today. For those guests who are unfamiliar with your work, could you give us a brief overview of your theories and your wisdom?
I decided to show my years of wisdom in aiding those who are fortunate enough to find themselves in positions of power and skillful and intelligent enough to heed my advice. I offer my work as a guide as to how to establish a functioning government that will stand the test of time, and how to establish laws and keep the citizens happy and satisfied under such rule.
A few years ago, the Patriot Act passed in the United States to help fight the so-called war on terror. It has been under scrutiny because it threatens some of the most cherished freedoms, such as our right to privacy and the right to due process of law. I am wondering, Machiavelli, how do you feel about this?
The most important thing to remember is that we must always do what is best for the state. You know, it's unfortunate sometimes what is best for society as a whole is not always best for the individual. And yes, it is unfortunate that some personal freedoms must be sacrificed, but it is for the greater good of the United States to protect its citizens from terrorism while, yes, curtailing some of their freedoms. It is unwise of a country and its leaders to expect people not to follow a certain law that once it has been passed. If I may give you an example from Livy's History of Rome, take Appius. He was a bad citizen indeed, but he was not given the right to an appeal for his trial in Rome, and this gave the Roman citizens an example that not everyone will be treated the same under the law. All American citizens should be treated the same, and for this, the Patriot Act should be reconsidered.
For us to really understand the information that you have presented for us today, we need to get to the core of the political world. Most generally, would you be willing to share your ideas about human nature?
People tend to complain about the present and have a glorified view of the past. This is regular human nature, but this is because people get older and wiser over time. Now, if people had this mindset all along, maybe they'd realize human nature is not any worse off now. It's just different. Human nature, I'd say the most important thing to remember is that man possesses the ability to be skillful, intelligent, but the majority of man is easily manipulated.
How do you feel about Tupac Shakur using your name in his raps?
Ah, Mr. Shakur. Well, I don't know, a bit unorthodox, but a good beat nonetheless.
Well, Niccolo, I think we have a much better impression of your political philosophies, and we look forward to seeing how others are interpreting your work. Thank you again for joining us.
Signora, once again, it was my pleasure.